So, ever feel like keeping up with tech is just a full-time job?
Tell me about it.
And you just want the key info, right?
Sure.
Without, like, all the jargon and endless scrolling.
Exactly. Just the need to know stuff.
Well, that's exactly what we try to do here on the Deep Dive. We take the important information from sources you should probably know about and, make sense of it fast.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we're diving into a whole batch of updates from ArcBlock. We're looking at their Blocklet Launcher, the Blocklet Store, and DB spaces.
Right, 3 key components.
Yeah, and our mission, basically, is to pull out the crucial improvements, the features that are actually going to make a difference, and figure out why they matter to you, whether you're, building on the platform or just using the apps.
Makes sense.
And honestly, looking at these notes, it seems like ArcBlock's been really focused on making things, smoother and more reliable.
That definitely seems to be a theme, yeah. Improving the core experience.
Blocklet Launcher first.
Absolutely. The Blocklet Launcher updates, they really signal a strong push to streamline how you manage and deploy serverless apps, making the whole thing more user-friendly.
Right. So the first thing, and maybe you've noticed this if you use it regularly, is a redesigned app list.
Oh, yeah. How so?
Well, they've apparently made it more intuitive, visually cleaner. And this is interesting. For new users, they've improved the empty state.
Ah, okay. So instead of just nothing.
Exactly. Instead of a blank screen, it now kind of guides you on where to start. It's really about making that first interaction less daunting, right?
Yeah. That makes a huge difference. A good UI, especially that first impression, is critical for getting people on board.
Totally.
By improving that initial experience, they're basically lowering the barrier to entry, making it easier to just get started with serverless. A clear starting point. It really cuts down frustration.
And speaking of less frustration, they've tackled that, that refresh thing after you log in.
Where things disappear for a second.
Yeah. Now, when you log in, your session actually persists. So things like your payment status, they stay visible. No more of that little jump and reload that kind of breaks your flow.
Oh, that's good.
Sounds like a small tweak, maybe, but I bet it makes a difference in just daily use.
Oh, absolutely. Retaining context, keeping things stable on the screen, that's key for a seamless experience. Eliminating those unnecessary refreshes makes it feel more responsive, less disruptive.
Yeah.
Small things like that often have a really big positive impact on just how usable the whole thing feels.
Okay, now this next one's interesting, especially I think for developers using React.
Okay.
They've introduced a custom plugin specifically for managing error messages. Apparently, it filters out those default props warnings.
Yeah, those can be noisy.
Right. For anyone not deep in React, these warnings, they aren't usually critical for the live app, but they can really clutter up the developer logs, makes it harder to spot the real issues. So this plugin basically helps developers focus on what actually matters.
That is a smart move. A definite plus for the developer experience. By hiding that kind of non-critical noise, developers can debug faster, find the real problems more efficiently.
Right.
It's about cutting through the clutter so the important signals stand out.
Right.
Leads to faster development, more stable apps in the end.
Okay, here's a bug fix I know some users will be happy about. They fixed an issue that stopped Blocklet installation if you were using incognito mode in your browser.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So if you like that extra bit of privacy when you're setting things up, you should be able to do that now without hitting a wall.
That's good. Addressing issues in, privacy modes shows that they're thinking about different user preferences.
Yeah.
Making sure core stuff works however you choose to browse.
And kind of on that note of core stuff, it seems there was a bit of a snag in the actual process of launching Blocklets.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, but they've apparently restored that now. So the fundamental process, getting your apps up and running, should be smooth again, which, let's be honest, is pretty crucial.
Indeed. Yeah, a broken core workflow like launching an app, that's a major usability hit. Fixing that is, paramount. You need to trust the basic operations.
Absolutely. Now, here's where it gets really interesting for platform reliability. They've upgraded their Sentry integration.
Sentry for error tracking. Okay.
Exactly. For those maybe not familiar, Sentry helps track and monitor errors in applications. They're using a new API now.
And that means?
It should mean more detailed error info, which leads to quicker diagnosis of problems and, ultimately, a more stable platform for everyone. Think of it like getting, much clearer reports from your system's health check.
Exactly. A robust error monitoring system like Sentry lets them be proactive, find and fix things, hopefully before they impact users.
Yeah.
Upgrading the API probably gives them access to more advanced features, better insights, definitely contributes to a more dependable platform.
Okay, they're shifting a bit to what's happening, like, under the hood.
Right, the engine room.
Yeah. They've done significant upgrades to dependencies, including the @Blocklet payment libraries. Now, this might sound super technical,
A little bit, yeah.
but these updates are really essential for, security and stability. It's like updating the core software on your computer. It keeps it safe, running smoothly.
Mm-hmm.
And those @Blocklet payment libraries specifically, well, they likely handle transactions, so keeping them secure is obviously vital.
Precisely. Dependency upgrades are kind of the unsung heroes of software maintenance, aren't they?
Huh, yeah, I guess so.
They bring in crucial security patches, performance boosts.
Mm-hmm.
They ensure the long-term health of the platform. And yeah, for payment stuff, those updates are absolutely critical for keeping financial transactions secure.
And one for the developers listening, they've introduced the concurrently package.
Oh, concurrently.
Yeah, it's a tool that apparently streamlines watching for file changes during development. So if you're pushing out updates often, this should make that workflow a lot smoother.
Yeah, tools like concurrently, they boost developer productivity. They automate and simplify those common, repetitive tasks. It can mean faster testing, faster iteration, which ultimately means quicker updates for end users.
Makes sense. Anything that speeds up that dev cycle is a win, right?
Definitely.
And finally, just on the launcher, it seems they've generally been refining error handling across the board. So the system should just be better at managing unexpected problems, fewer disruptions, a more stable experience overall.
Better error handling, yeah. That's a sign of a maturing platform. Making the system more resilient, more robust. It means a smoother ride for everyone.
So putting it all together for the Blocklet Launcher.
Yeah, the pattern seems pretty clear, doesn't it? A definite focus on ease of use, both for end users and developers, and building a stronger, more stable foundation. These aren't just cosmetic changes, they're addressing fundamentals.
Couldn't agree more. Okay, so ready to switch gears. Let's dive into the Blocklet Store updates.
Let's do it.
It sounds like the focus here has been on making it easier to, find and use blocklets, plus adding some interesting new branding options.
Yeah, the Blocklet Store updates, they seem to point towards a more polished user experience, definitely. Yeah. And also enabling developers to kind of showcase their blocklets better through branding.
Okay, first up, and this sounds like a pretty significant addition, theming support for blocklets.
Theming. Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah. So developers can now use themes provided by the Blocklet service itself. This means blocklets can not only work well, but also match specific branding visually.
Right, so you get a consistent look and feel.
Exactly. They've even added a create theme function, and you can use variables like store secondary and text.lighter to keep that consistency. Feels like a big step for allowing more customized on-brand experiences right there in the store.
Oh, theming support is definitely crucial for that. Enhancing the visual appeal, the brand identity of blocklets.
Yeah.
It makes the whole marketplace feel more professional, more engaging. By giving developers those tools to customize the look, ArcBlock is fostering, well, a better marketplace overall. Can really improve user trust and encourage people to try out new blocklets.
Another usability improvement sounds welcome. A new compact list display.
Compact list. How does that help?
Well, it's particularly useful when you're browsing the store in, say, smaller modal windows, where screen space is tight.
Gotcha. Like inside another app sometimes.
Right. It lets you see more options at once without endless scrolling, just making it easier to navigate and discover stuff.
Yeah, that's a practical UI tweak. Directly improves discoverability, especially in those cramped spaces. Seeing more options without scrolling so much makes browsing faster, less overwhelming.
Definitely. Now, for developers who've submitted blocklets for review, this next one sounds like a time saver. Automatic refresh for review statuses in the blocklet list.
Nice. So no more hitting refresh constantly.
Exactly. No more manual page refreshing to see if your blocklet got approved. The status just updates in real time. It's about giving more immediate feedback, streamlining that whole publishing process.
Yeah, real-time updates like that are great.
Yeah.
Immediate feedback, less manual checking.
Yeah.
Makes the review process more efficient, more transparent, better developer experience all around.
They've also been working on just general UX improvements, specifically refining the search function.
Okay, search is always important.
Yeah, making it handle long lists of results better and preventing those, page errors you sometimes get.
Yeah, when the search just breaks because there's too much stuff.
Exactly. We've all been there. So this sounds like a significant usability fix.
Absolutely. A reliable, robust search is fundamental for any marketplace, right? If you can't find what you're looking for, what's the point?
True.
Improving how it handles lots of results, stopping errors, makes it easier for users to actually find the blocklets they need, leads to a much more satisfying experience.
And kind of on the flip side of the store, on the back end, they've improved the error feedback for signature parsing in the API.
Signature parsing. Okay, explain that a bit.
So a digital signature helps verify that the software, the blocklet in this case, is authentic and hasn't been tampered with.
Got it. Security thing.
Right. So if there's a problem with a blocklet signature, developers will now get clearer, more helpful error messages. Helps them figure out the problem and fix it faster. Again, just making development and publishing smoother.
Yeah, clear error messages are crucial for debugging efficiently. Better insights into signature problems helps developers fix things quicker, and it also helps ensure the integrity and security of the blocklets in the store. Good stuff.
Now, on the bug fix front for the Blocklet Store, they've tackled issues with missing translations.
Translations. Important for accessibility.
Totally. So important for making the platform accessible to, a global audience, making sure users everywhere can understand and use the store in their own language.
Yeah, fixing missing translations is essential for inclusivity. Supporting multiple languages means the store can reach more people, provide a better experience for everyone, whatever their language.
They've also apparently squashed some other bugs, specifically in the search function.
More search fixes. Okay.
Yeah, so beyond just handling long lists better, the search results themselves should now be more reliable, more accurate, making sure you actually get the results you expect, which is pretty foundational for a store, isn't it?
It really is. Accurate, reliable search results are the absolute cornerstone of a functional marketplace. Fixing those bugs directly improves that core experience of finding blocklets.
And just like we saw with the launcher, the Blocklet Store has also been getting regular updates to its underlying dependencies.
Makes sense. Ongoing maintenance.
Yeah, it's vital, right?
Yeah.
Keeps the platform secure, stable, running efficiently. It's that continuous behind-the-scenes work that ensures a healthy ecosystem.
Absolutely. Consistent dependency updates are just crucial maintenance. They patch vulnerabilities, ensure compatibility. What's interesting here is that dual focus, isn't it?
How do you mean?
Well, they're enhancing the user-facing stuff, like the theming we talked about, making it look better, work better. But they're also strengthening the foundations with these back-end updates and dependency management. And that emphasis on branding, the theming.
Right.
It kind of suggests the Blocklet ecosystem is reaching a new level of maturity, perhaps.
That's a really interesting point.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, let's move on to our final set of updates for today. DD Spaces, upgraded to version 1.0.48.
Right. DD Spaces.
Sounds like this update brings some useful improvements for managing your own personal digital space.
Yeah, the DD Spaces update seems focused on giving users better tools for organizing their stuff, ensuring their data is reliable, and just improving overall performance.
Okay, the first feature that caught my eye here is personalized previews.
Previews? For what?
For various types of content in your DID space. Things like Discuss Kit posts, blogs you might write, bookmarks, documents.
So you see a snapshot of the content.
Exactly. Customized previews right there, making it easier to quickly see what's what, identify things, manage your information. Apparently, it's available now in apps that have Discuss Kit installed, and you need to check the instructions in those apps to use it. Sounds like a nice way to streamline managing your content.
Personalized previews like that can really boost efficiency when you're managing digital stuff. A quick visual overview makes organizing easier, finding specific things faster, improves productivity. And the integration with Discuss Kit, that shows how these different ArcBlock services are meant to work together.
Yeah, good point. Another important update. They fixed inaccurate backup statistics.
No, the stats were wrong.
Seems like there was an issue where the reported backup info wasn't totally reliable. Now, users should get accurate data about their backups, which is pretty crucial, right, for peace of mind, managing your data effectively.
Absolutely. You need to trust your backup info.
Knowing your backups are what they say they are is fundamental for data security.
For sure. Accurate backup stats are essential for user trust, for data integrity. By fixing those inaccuracies, ArcBlock is giving users reliable information they need to manage their data securely, confidently.
And in terms of performance, it sounds like they've worked on optimizing memory usage within DDI spaces.
Reducing memory footprint, always good.
Yeah, the update aims to cut down how much memory the application uses, should lead to better performance, a smoother experience, especially maybe on devices that don't have tons of resources. We all appreciate apps that are light and fast, right?
We do indeed.
Mm.
Optimized memory management is key for smooth performance, responsiveness. Reducing memory consumption makes it more efficient, more user-friendly, especially across a wider range of devices.
And finally, they've also improved the error messaging when you have connection failures to died spaces.
Better error messages. Helpful.
Yeah, instead of just generic, oops, something went wrong type messages, users should now get more specific, more helpful info to figure out connection issues. Clear communication when things break can really reduce frustration.
Totally agree. Improved error messaging is just good user support. Clearer, more actionable information when connection problems happen empowers users to troubleshoot better, leads to a better experience overall, even when things aren't perfect.
So, looking at did spaces updates together?
Yeah, they really emphasize making personal data management more intuitive, definitely more dependable, and more efficient.
Absolutely. So, wow, we've covered a lot today. Updates across the Blocklet Launcher, the Blocklet Store, and dead spaces. When you step back, what are some of the overarching themes connecting all these?
Well, several things really stand out, I think. Across all three, there's that clear emphasis on improving the user experience.
Right. Better interfaces, navigation.
Yeah. Streamlined workflows. And then there's a really strong commitment to reliability and stability. You see that in all the bug fixes, the dependency upgrades we talked about, the better error handling.
Security focus, too.
Definitely. And finally, there's that consistent effort to improve things for developers, making it easier to build, deploy, manage applications on the platform.
It really feels like these updates aren't just random fixes, does it? They all seem to be pushing towards a more cohesive, more robust platform overall.
I think so, too.
And that repeated focus on security and stability, especially with those dependency upgrades, it really underlines that commitment to the long haul, you know?
Exactly. While each update tackles specific needs in its own area, the launcher, the store, spaces collectively, they show a platform that's actively being maintained, actively being improved. And they're thinking about both the end user and the developer.
And for you, listening in our learner persona, hopefully, this deep dive has painted a clearer picture of how these changes might actually impact you day to day. Seems like it's all about making your experience smoother, more efficient, more productive, whether you're building stuff or just using the apps built on ArcBlock.
And from a slightly broader view, these updates, they reflect a platform that's really evolving, maturing, the focus on usability, reliability, security. It suggests a long-term vision for a robust, trustworthy ecosystem.
Yeah.
And the trends we see here, better marketplace experiences, improved personal data management, they really align with what users are increasingly expecting from online interactions, things that are user-centric and efficient.
So to wrap it all up, we've taken a pretty detailed look at the latest from ArcBlock, the Blocklet Launcher getting more user-friendly, more reliable, the Blocklet Store offering more customization, better browsing, and Debility Spaces focusing on better personal data management and performance. Hopefully this has given you a much clearer sense of these updates and, how they might affect what you do.
Which leads to maybe an interesting thought for you to take away and mull over.
Oh.
With these ongoing improvements in, like managing modular apps, discovering services online, and controlling your own personal data, how might all this actually shape the future of your online interactions? What new possibilities could these building blocks unlock for you in your digital life?
That is interesting. Some great food for thought there. If you are interested in digging deeper into any of this stuff, the launcher, the store, spaces, we definitely recommend checking out the official ArcBlock documentation, their community forums, the product pages, all the usual places for more detail.
Yep, the resources are out there.
Absolutely. Well, thanks for joining us for this deep dive.
My pleasure.
We're looking forward to our next exploration.